And I constantly say, as I'm blessed every day, this is wonderful, wonderful time. This is wonderful, wonderful me. Living life as I want to be. And with thought and with voice, I am living my choice. This is wonderful, wonderful me.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Kauai. Let me start over. Welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living Kauai. My name is Michelle May. I'm one of the Board of Trustees. I'm also part of the Malama team. I am also a practitioner intern, and I'm also going to tell you the announcements today. And as you notice, I am surrounded by beautiful different faces. Some you may or may not know. We'll be giving introductions later. But Reverends Rita and Reverend Patrick are actually off island, so we are here to play. Yay! And I say that because I know they're watching. They are actually at a ministerial conference in Asheville, North Carolina. So they will be back next Sunday. But in the meantime, we have a whole new crew here to help and support you. And we still have lots of great things that are happening here at the center. So first and foremost, next Saturday, we have our Powerful or Powerless, which is run by Reverend Diane, who's up front today. That's on the first and third Sundays, and it's a combination of Science of Mind principles and the 12-step programs. So please join us at 10 to 11:30. And then because the Revs are not here for the first Sunday, we are postponing our wrap with the Revs, which is something new that we've started. So that's going to be directly after service next Sunday. And what that is an opportunity to gather in circle, hear a little bit about the Revs story, how CSL Kauai started, and then also those of us who stay and join for that, we get to share a little bit about our spiritual journey, what brought us here, anything you'd like to share. So it's amazing. The first time we did it, there were a lot of people that I know and I see on a weekly, but I definitely learned something new about everybody. So it's just another way to gather and to share. And especially if you're very new to CSL Kauai, or this is your first time, or you're visiting, please join us. That'll be directly after service next Sunday. And that's also Bring a Friend Sunday. So you can invite your friends to stay and meet the Reverends as well. So please spread the word to your friends and family about what we're doing here. We know that we are changing our own lives, and it's just wonderful when we can share that with other folks and invite our friends to come. So you can bring them any Sunday, of course, but next is the official Bring a Friend Sunday, and then you can stay for wrap with the Revs. At the towards the middle and then towards the end of October, we have a lot of different things I'm just going to highlight because we're going to give more information. But we do have a Taste of Theater, which is a free after-school program for teens that we've been talking about. So we do need a few more teenagers. They don't have to be members of CSL Kauai. They could just be people out in the community to do this theater program. It's for teens from 13 to 18, and this is where the Reverends get to put their theatrical background and have a program for the teens here on Kauai and in the community. So please, we have some flyers out back at the information table, so please feel free to grab one of those and pass them out to your friends that you know have teenagers. And then we're going to be having another healing circle on Wednesday, October 18th. Our flying solo participants have been working really hard and digging really deep to create these performances that will be done on October 20th. We're also going to have a women's clothing swap and potluck. Yay! I'm super excited about that one because I'm the one putting it on. So, and there'll be more details, and of course everything's been in the pamphlets that you've received. And then one you want to mark your calendar for sure is the Reverends are doing another workshop. It's a one-time workshop called Love the One You're With. And it's all about loving yourself, how we do that more, and how we can take practical tools and put them into our daily lives. So that's going to be Thursday, October 26th. So lots going on. Everything is in your program. And now what I'd like to do is introduce Dr. Reverend Peggy Price. How about a nice big round of applause?
Good morning. Oh, I guess I should take a mic. I'll just use this one. So we have a tradition here of lighting a peace candle every Sunday morning, and I just want to share a couple of words about that. You know, even though we look in the world of appearances and we see that there seems to be a lot of conflict, there's also a lot of peace going on the planet. So we like to focus on that. And we also know that as we focus on peace, each one of us in our hearts, that we become, as we shared in the workshop we did last weekend, that each of us becomes the epicenter of universal peace in the world, wherever we go. So we're being called to that. And as we light this candle, we do that with that reflection, with that idea that each of us is that epicenter of peace. And so we know right now that in this moment there is one power and one presence, and that peace is the power at the heart of God, and that peace is the power at the heart of each and every one of us. And that as we send out that message and that vision and that sense of peacefulness into the world, it makes ripples like the butterfly effect, and it creates an energy of peace around the planet. So we know this to be the truth, we claim it and accept it, and we join together and say, and so it is. Thank you, Michelle. Now, I'm following a script this morning, and it's my first time up here, so just love me through it, okay? But I am really delighted to be here this morning. My name is Reverend Dr. Peggy Price. I've been living here since the end of April. My husband and I have been renting a house here to more than put our toe in the water, to put our foot in the water and see if this is really the place for us, and yes, it is. So... And we are planning to go home at the end of October and get that house on the market that's in Huntington Beach, California, and move over here. I have been a minister in the movement, in the Science of Mind movement, since 1996, and have had two congregations, one in Huntington Beach and one in Seal Beach, California, where I'm still affiliated as Minister Emeritus. So I've had a lot of opportunities to minister and be a part of this. I've also been very active on international levels with not only our work, but the Parliament of the World's Religions. So I want to share something with you. Rita and Patrick, I hope you're listening and watching right now, because I've visited a lot of centers. I've been a guest speaker at a lot of centers. I've done workshops and board retreats at a lot of centers. This one is exceptional. A lot of you have never been to another one, but this one is exceptional. You might like to know that in spite of the fact that there are some mega churches around the United States, the average church in the United States of America has 50 members. This center on this tiny island where you can't draw from a major metropolitan area, this center has 200 members. This center is exceptional. And I must give the credit to these two amazing people, Reverend Patrick and Reverend Rita, because they have the vision. So while they're not here, I hope they're smiling and being kind of embarrassed right now, because we have this practice on Sunday mornings here when we welcome people who are here for the very first time. And so I want to take that practice, but we're also going to turn around and do it for them in a moment. So, how many of you are here for the very first time? I know we have a visiting minister. My daughter Shawnee's over there in the corner. She's here for the first time too. She's here from the mainland. We want to welcome you all. I know there's a visiting minister, Reverend Bonito. Where are you? There. And where are you from? Tennessee? Nashville. Welcome. So we want to welcome you here. Now, there's something that we know about you, even though you just came in and you think you might be strangers to us, but we know something about you, don't we? And so we're all going to turn to you and tell you what we know, and that is, you are magnificent. Yes. And now let's turn not only to the audience that's watching live stream, but most especially to Reverends Patrick and Rita, and tell them, you are magnificent. And so is CSL Kauai. And now turn to your neighbor and tell them, you are magnificent. And you, and you, and you, and you. And Dawn is magnificent. Now, you can't know that about somebody else unless you also know it about yourself. So I want you to put your hand over your heart and say, I am magnificent. Okay, did we leave anybody out? No. All right, good. So far, so good. All right, now I just want to say a little bit more about what is the science of mind and what it is that we teach. We are a faith, a philosophy, and a way of life. We have a belief in a higher power. Many of us call that higher power God, but it might be energy, it might be all kinds of other ways and expressions of that higher power. And that power indwells us. It's not out there somewhere. It's within us. And we have the ability and the capacity to work with that power. Ernest Holmes says there is a power greater than you are, and you can use it. I always like to add, and it uses you. So that we become this energy of this one, this spirit, this life. And as we open to that and align with it and focus our thoughts on the good that we wish to experience, we begin to experience that good. This is truly a life-changing teaching and practice. And I say it's a practice because it isn't something where you just get a pat answer out of a book. This is one that teaches you how to think for yourself, how to think in a way that allows you to use your conscious mind in a powerful and positive way for good in the world. And we changed our name a few years ago from Church of Religious Science, which was kind of scary to some people, and two words that were scary, religious and science, and changed it to Center for Spiritual Living, because we teach you how to live a spiritual life in order that we can all make this a better world. And our vision is for a world that works for everyone, not just for a select few, but for everyone. And so we bless all people, all paths. We are loving and inclusive and open and welcoming. So that's a little mini lesson on who we are and what we teach. Now, I also want to welcome our musicians this morning, and one of them is really special because I got to celebrate his birthday with him last night. And that's Don Price. And we have Luis on drums. And we have Michael Fox as our special soloist this morning. Woohoo! So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning. I know she is Dr. Reverend Peggy Price, but I just call her Yes Dear. I was here a couple of weeks ago and we did this John Denver song called Love is Everywhere. It's a great song, great lyrics. The lyrics are in your program. We're going to slow it down because it's quite a tongue twister to sing. But sing along with me. This is a sing-along song, Love is Everywhere. Love is everywhere, I see it. You are all that you can be. Come on and be it. Life is perfect, I believe it. Come and play the game with me. Open yourself to the first celebration. Open your eyes to the joy and pain. Life is the fruit of your own creation. Every new birth is a soul regained. Chorus. Love is everywhere, I see it. You are all that you can be. Come on and be it. Life is perfect, I believe it. Come and play the game with me. Drinking my life from a silver fountain, sweet water running to the cold salt sea. Old man moon on a white hot mountain, sounds of the wind singing dreams to me. Chorus. Love is everywhere, I see it. You are all that you can be. Come on and be it. Life is perfect, I believe it. Come and play the game with me.
And love is everywhere, and we can see it on the shining faces of those around us. We can feel it within our own heart, in our own awareness. We can experience it and share it with everyone we know. Love is universal and love is free, and we get to share it as much as we possibly can. And that love is the love of spirit. That love is life itself. And life is truly perfect in every way. Even when the outer appearance seems otherwise, there is a divine pattern of perfection within each and every one of us. So as we join together here this morning in celebration, in openness, in the willingness to listen and learn and experience something new, and the opportunity to be that expression of love in the world, we simply give thanks, releasing these words into that mind and heart, love and law of spirit, and say together, and so it is.
Third verse. Follow your heart like a flying stallion, race to the sun for the edge of night. Form your truth like a gold medallion, dance in the circle of the love. Chorus, one more time. Love is everywhere, I see it. You are all that you can be, go on and be it. Life is perfect, I believe it. Come and play the game with me. Come and play the game. Come and play the game with me. Wow, good job.
Good morning. So I have some special words from Buddha today. However many holy words you read, however many you speak, what good will they do you if you do not act upon them? So let's take that along with a beautiful song that was written by Ricky Byers-Beckwith into our meditation, which is Return to Me. So I'll just read you the words as we move into meditation and then follow it by prayer. Return to me. Return to me. With every breath, return. End and begin with me. With every breath, return. to love. Return to love. With every breath, return. End and begin with love. With every breath, return. And so it is in that space of love, that space of connection, that place of absolutely knowing that we are all connected. We are all one. There is nothing that lives outside this presence, this power of love. There is this only one heart, one love, one life, one presence, and it is a presence for good, a presence for joy, peace, understanding. And so it is in that space that we connect with and know that each and every one of us are of that power and presence. And I speak my word today for each person in this congregation, knowing that we return to love, we return to peace, we return to joy. We move away from all of the conditions of judgment, of fear, and move back into that space of love. For it is in this space that we know that all good happens, that everything moves forward when we can stand in the truth of who we are. So I speak my word today, again, knowing that each person takes this love, this light, this joy, this peace, this understanding out into the world in their unique and special ways. Knowing that we are supported by one another and supported by an incredibly large community of those that stand in the truth of this oneness. We stand in it, claim it, move it, speak it, love it, and let it move through us, for it is truly who we are. And so for this love, for this presence, for this congregation, for this community that says yes to being an expression of love, I am grateful. I am so, so grateful. And so I take this gratitude and I take my word and I take this love and I release it out into the law, where everything that is released says yes, yes, yes. So love is what it is. So I release it, let it go, and let it be. And please join me in affirming this truth by saying, and so it is.
So if you will join us in a chant, which you'll find in your bulletin. Thank you, Deborah. Beautiful. Peace is where we came from.
Peace is where we came from. Peace is who we are. Peace is where we're going. Peace will take us far. Peace is where we came from. Peace is who we are. Peace is where we're going. Peace will take us far. One more time. Peace is where we came from. Peace is who we are. Peace is where we're going. Peace will take us far.
Thank you, Dawn. And now it's my pleasure to welcome someone that I know many of you are familiar with, but who's much loved here, Michael Fox.
I just needed 20 seconds just to speak my vulnerable moment in this time. I'm leaving the island tomorrow. I've been here about a month, and I've had so much healing, and it started here at Center for Spiritual Living. Patrick and Rita. Anyways, so I had a roller coaster of aloha, and in the beginning, some things didn't show up, and then all of a sudden, a lot showed up, and CSL had a lot to do with that. So I put a quick ad on Facebook and I said, hey, my car's not coming through. I don't have a place to stay. All of a sudden, Michelle LeMay connects me to Gigi, aloha Gigi, connects me to Patrick and Rita. A car shows up, 5 places to live show up. So as my gratitude, Gigi says, hey, how about my car, $9 a day? And I'm like, oh my God, that's great, right? So she said, just donate the money to CSL Kauai, right? I'm like, wow, so much more aloha. I'm not gonna cry, but so my gift to CSL Kauai, I'd like to gift this guitar to you guys for Patrick and Rita. The other day, I'm like, oh, you guys don't have a house guitar? I have to go buy a guitar. So this is for you guys, Patrick, Rita. So you guys can have in honor of Gigi. Thank you, Gigi, because you're aloha, and Michelle LeMay and Paulo. I don't know if he's here. I've had so much aloha, you guys. So I'm very honored to play the first song on this guitar, and it will stay here with the stand, and it'll bring a lot of aloha to you guys from other musicians that just love you guys up. So, and Kaya's gonna join me today, unrehearsed. She's just gonna just flow with us. So, thank you. This song I wrote, with a little help from my brother Xavier Rudd. All the lyrics are really how I feel about Kauai, and I wrote this song at this place right here on the ocean. And for me, leaving tomorrow, and for the energy I feel from all of you guys, it's interesting. When I was a musician here before, I could never really look at you guys. So it's a beautiful thing for me to actually see you. It's a beautiful thing that I can actually see you guys now instead of hiding. So aloha. The song is called Calming Winds, and it's how I feel every time I come to the ocean and to see you guys. Let's go on a little journey together. These calming winds, they blow across my mind. When I look to your shores, I feel you all the time. The wind in my eyes, the comfort in your tears. When I look upon you, I have no fears. Nan te re lare, lare la te lo, la te lo, lare lo. Nan te re lare, lare la te lo, lare la te lo, lare lo. Mist is rolling in, I see you again, my friends. You keep me safe and warm upon your grounds. You make my spine rise, and I see you not one last time. I used to think that you're a dream, but now I scream. Scream with life, with love, with happiness, with joy. Nan te re lare la te lo, lare la te lo. Oh, yeah, yeah. Nan te re lare la te lo. La re la te lo, la re lo. See you in my dreams. You touched me in my heart. I see you once again, not one last time. I see you in my dreams. You touched me in my heart. I see you once again, not one last time.
Love you, Michael.
Hawaii's new guitar.
Wow. You just reached right into our hearts. Thank you so much. How beautiful. Thank you. And aloha to you as you travel on and return again, I'm sure. So I get to introduce someone that I've come to know quite well over the last 6 months. Actually, I met her 2 years ago for the first time and was quite taken with her at that point, and even more so now that I know her better. Your speaker this morning is Reverend Diane Decker. And Reverend Diane actually has a degree in forestry. She was a forester. And I know that we both have tree hugging in common, so my first tree I hugged was a redwood up in Eureka, which is where she's from, and I got it right away. Oh, I understand now why people hug trees. So I'm just so happy that she's here with this wonderful center. She brings this quiet energy of peace and grace and love and a little side note of mischief just to give it that like a good wine, a side note of tang or whatever. And she has such grace and beauty, and she's been such an asset to this community with the work that she does. And I'm going to invite all of you to hold her in the light tomorrow morning, because she is going to be on a Zoom call with ministers from Asheville, North Carolina, who are going to be giving her her final panel so that she can go on to ordination. And so she has fulfilled all those requirements, and she is ready, more than ready. And usually these panels, these last panels, are just a love fest to affirm who we know she already is. So please welcome Reverend Diane Decker.
Good morning, Kauai. You are beautiful today. Do you know that? Michael, you made me cry. Thank you for touching my heart this morning. I learned that it's always best to live in a way that allows life to touch you, and I thank you for that. Last Sunday, I was absent. Have you ever been absent from the church you go to every week? All week long, people have been saying, "We missed you on Sunday." I was at the First Hawaiian Church. They were having a special open house to kick off the Mokihana Festival that was happening all week, and it was an amazing service. And what was even more amazing was they were speaking science of mind, only they didn't know it. The minister got up with the Bible, and he was reading passages from the Bible, and everything he said was science of mind. We are all one. We are all part of the same thing. And everything we need comes from God within us. God is not outside of us. That's what he was saying. I was so thrilled to get a science of mind message from what I expected to be a very traditional Hawaiian Christian church, which it was. And so I was blessed with that. Part of my calling, maybe one of the reasons you and I get along so well, is interfaith ministries. And one of the ways I like to do that is by visiting other faith traditions and noticing how alike we really are. And so that's what I was doing, playing hooky last week. And I know that Reverend Rita and Patrick gave an amazing message, but I missed it. So what I also want to mention is that Friday night, how many of you were here for the movie night? The Truth is in the Stars, facilitated by Rob and Roseanne. Thank you so much. You did an amazing job. That film, with William Shatner moderating, was all about we are all one. We all come from the same stardust, the same stuff. The iron that is in the meteorite, that is on Mars, that is on Jupiter, that is on Earth, it flows in our blood. We are all made of the same stuff and come from the same place. So my week has been pretty amazing. And actually the last couple of months have been pretty amazing. In August, Rita and Patrick talked about mental equivalent. You remember that little book that was selling like hotcakes? We talked about the mental equivalent and how what you hold in your mind colors what your world looks like. That false mental causes can be removed by a freshness of thought and looking at your life in a new way. We talked about that, and that's been working on me. In September, we talked about the power of decision. And how many of you are transplants here? In this space, it's safe to say that because so many of us made the decision to come here, made the decision to make this our home. How many of you were worried, nervous, scared, just a little bit wanting to run back in the corner and not actually get on the plane? We had a year of planning and a year of people saying, you can't go, and I thought you loved the north coast of California and your home and your garden and your... We had made a decision, and it took great courage to move through those heart tugs. It took great courage to stay with our decision because we had been called, and you had been called, yes? Yes. There are two ways of using the one mind, right? We can go back and forth. We can undo the power of our thinking, the power of our decision, with negative thinking. I had an interesting thing happen last month as I was, as these two titles, these themes for the last couple of months have been working on me. Have they been working on you? I've had people come up to me and say, I don't know what was going on in September, but my life is changing. I don't know what I heard in August, but my life is changing. And I'm doing it. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, because the October theme is the courageous heart. The courageous heart. Do you have a courageous heart? Is there anybody here who did not have a courageous heart until they got here? Oh, come on, am I the only one? There you are. I see you raising your hands in the background. It takes a great deal of courage to first know that you're doing it to yourself, that everything that is occurring in your life is of your own creation. We teach that here, yes? And then to make a decision to turn that around. Okay, so the decision's been made. Now what do? Action, yes. What else? Love. Trust. We have to open ourselves to take the first step. We have to open ourselves to allow that something within that guides us to move through us in a way that is indeed miraculous. Today's talk title is Beyond the Law of Averages, and I'll get there. But you have to know, while I was meditating this morning, some other stuff came up. And it always does. Dr. Peggy told you that I used to be a forester, and just as I had graduated with my bachelor's degree and I was heading off into the field of forestry, and I did get to spend 10 years in the trees. I was so blessed to be able to do that. But I would, picture me, okay? I'm in the sturdy clothes, hard hat, leather work boots, that's my life. Driving a truck, yes. And that's when I met Sue. And then something started to happen just as I was embarking on that journey. Just as I was learning to stand in those burnt out redwoods and feel the divine energy flowing through those magnificent beings. Oh my God. It's the same energy I felt when Michael was singing this morning. It's the same energy I feel when I'm in meditation. It's the same energy I feel when I'm floating on the ocean or under a waterfall. It's the same energy that's beating our heart. Anyway, I digress. Just as I was embarking on that new career, I started getting these visions in my meditation time. Have any of you ever had like a bizarre vision come up in your... Yeah, you have. Well, what I started seeing was this. Well, picture a stage like the KCC auditorium. It's a big auditorium with the raised stage and the velvet curtain in the back. I started getting an image of that with this woman speaking in a purple silk suit. And after a while, I realized it was me. And I went, oh. What is this about? I don't remember if I even told Sue about it at the time, but I went to see my minister because I was a little concerned. And dear Reverend Betsy Elliott said to me, well, you just know when you're called, Diane. Have you been called? And I said, well, what do I do with that? And she said, you find the courage within yourself to take the first step. And you sign up and take a class. And that's what I did, and I started my journey towards being a practitioner. And as I was going along the way, and as I became licensed as a practitioner of religious science, the dream went away. The vision went away, and I thought, I got over that one. I'm not really meant to be talking on a stage in a purple silk suit. I'm going to keep my boots. No. As soon as I got licensed as a practitioner of religious science, the vision came back. And Spirit started. Do you guys have an A-team? Angels, ancestors, and advisors? I have an A-team apparently. And as soon as I had completed that first leg of the journey, they said, okay, you're not done. Take the next class. And at that very time, I lost my job in forestry. The 2008 layoffs happened all over Northern California, and I was out of work. Guess what I did? After I cried a lot because I really loved my work, I enrolled in Holmes Institute for a master's degree in consciousness studies. And I started my journey to ministry. I still don't own the purple silk suit, but it's waiting for me. It's waiting for me somewhere. All of that took a lot of courage and a lot of decision making and a lot of perseverance, and that's what happens sometimes when you're called to something that you didn't expect. That doesn't only happen to ministers, it happens to all of us. What happens is we start getting this crazy idea. Has anybody ever had like the craziest, where did that come from kind of idea? That's your A-team. That's your own personal A-team. Telling you there's something more for you. I don't even know where I am in my talk. I guess it's all good. You know, there was that part of my mind that said, well, I grew up in Agape. That was my first religious science community. And Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith would say, who do you think you are? But what he was talking about was, do you think you're small? Do you think you're Diane Decker? Because you're not. You're the power, the presence, and the love of God living in and through you as Diane Decker. You're not this human form. You're not what you've thought. You're not your history. You're not where you came from. You are right here now today, the power, the presence, and the love of God expressing as each one of us. And what that means is the A-team is bringing you your calling. Listen to it. We judge according to appearances. The holy texts of all religions have said, judge not according to appearances, but judge by righteous judgment. They have said that because what our history is, what we've seen so far, is not all that can be. In fact, it should not be all that can be. We're in this teaching because we know there's more. We know there's something beyond mediocrity that is calling us. And we're here to learn, regardless of where you are on your spiritual journey, how to make a new mental equivalent, how to make a decision and stand in it, and then how to have that courageous heart that takes the first step. And then something happens and you take 2 steps back, but then you take another step forward. And then life happens and things don't look like they're working, but you take another step forward anyway. And things start opening up. Right, Michael? The food shows up, the car shows up, the William shows up, the housing shows up, the music shows up, the guitar shows up. I've been hearing that from you since you've been here. What happened to me was, when I was ready to go to ministerial school, my job went away so that I had time to do a master's program. You don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what it's going to look like. Even though losing that job was a piece of my identity that I didn't want to let go of. It was something I had worked so hard for, to be a 40-year-old brand new forester. Oh my goodness. Don't think that what you did in your 20s, in your teens, in your 30s has anything to do with what you're going to be doing in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It has not a thing to do with it except laying the groundwork for who you are and what you bring to that situation. So Sue says, I married a forester, and now I'm married to a minister. How did that happen? How do you get from there to here? Sorry, sweetie. You know, we have to maintain the knowledge that God is moving in and through us. We have to maintain that faith that allows us to know that no matter what is showing up in our lives, job or no job, partner, no partner, money, no money, house, no house, that everything is unfolding for our highest good. And we have to just keep taking those steps and following the wisdom that is within us that is calling us to be more than we have ever dared to be before. I'm amazed at the way things have fallen away in my life and the claw marks that were on them, that today I am so grateful they are not in my life anymore. Yes? You know what I'm talking about. It's the situations that we thought were perfect for us. And they were, but then they weren't. And we had to let go of them and to move, right? To shift. I had to let go of forestry to be a minister. But the good news is, what that gave me was my initial eyes to see that God is everywhere present. I saw it in the mosses and in the birds and in the soil and in the magnificent 1,000-year-old redwoods and in the smallest fish climbing up the stream. And I saw it in my coworkers, and I felt it in the breeze. And it was that work that I did in the woods that gave me the knowledge that there's so much more than we see. There's so much more than we've known before. Keep your eyes open, Diane, and see what's coming your way. And it kept happening over and over again. I learned to trust my intuition in the woods. I learned to know that I'm okay, even when I'm alone, all the way out, no matter where there's, lions, tigers, and bears. No tigers. No elephants. There were snakes. But there were cougars, and there were bears, and there were holes in the woods, and there were all kinds of things that called on my courage then. And there are things today that call on my courage today. What I want you to know, I guess, is that the divine urge within you is what is calling you. That's the message your A-team is giving you, is that there's something calling you to be more than you've ever been before. How do we work with that in everyday life? What do we have to do to take that step forward? Well, for one thing, we have to cease being anything, saying anything, doing anything that is contrary to what we're being called to be. And you know when that's happening. You know when you're acting in a way that you're about to say something, that you're about to say yes to something that is not in alignment with your highest good, with the way your life is wanting to unfold. Some of you have attended visioning sessions with me or others, and you know about that process. Towards the end, part of it is knowing what's getting in the way, what needs to change, what is calling us to be more. And we get this vague idea of what we're supposed to be doing. That's kind of like that, well, it wasn't a vague idea for me, purple suit on a stage. Oh my goodness. It was very clear. But then when things showed up in my life that were not that, I recognized it. And sometimes I still went ahead and did it anyway. And I got to live the consequences of those choices, just like we all do. But then I got to choose again and make a new decision and stand on my feet again and get ready to take the next step. And then when something came up in my life, like losing my job and Holmes Institute calling me, I knew it was the right next step for me to take. And so I only tell you all this stuff about myself because we're all alike, aren't we? We all live in that place where we think we're not really good enough. We think that what is calling us couldn't possibly be for us. My parents always said this about me: I couldn't possibly do that. That's a biggie for a lot of people. Look at all the garbage that I have brought along with me. I couldn't possibly step over there instead. That's the voice of mediocrity that's talking to us. That's the voice that says, no, you really aren't good enough. Why don't you just forget about that dream and just go to work and just, let somebody else do that. You're really not up to it. Or you could choose again. You could decide not to do anything in your life contrary to what is calling you. And you could start that tomorrow. In fact, you could start that today when you go to lunch. You could decide to be a better parent than you've ever been before. You could go to work and you could decide to be the best employee your employer's ever seen. You could talk to the next person who has that divine opportunity for you, and they're just waiting. I was talking to somebody last night about how what we're looking for is looking for us. I mean, that was kind of how we found our first house here. It was like we had to know that it was looking for us at the final hour. We didn't have a place to live yet, and where are we going to go? We got our stuff packed. We got our stuff. Anyway, but you got to know that what is looking for you, let me say that right. What you're looking for is looking for you. There's a divine appointment for you to make if you follow that urge within you that's calling you to be more than you've ever been before. The only reason that men or women are limited is because we don't listen to that. It's because we don't listen to that divine urge within ourselves that's saying, do it. Just take a step. One tiny step. Take the next class that you hear advertised. There was a little vignette in the movie on Friday night. William Shatner was interviewing a Canadian astronaut, and he said, would you go to Mars? And then we talked about that in our discussion group. Would you go to Mars and live there for a while and work there and do that research there? And he said, well, yes. And Bill said, but what about your granddaughter that you're going to miss? What about your family that you're not going to be around? Wouldn't you rather just kind of stay on the earth and support that research, maybe somebody else? And he said, my wife always said to me, there's a higher price to pay for not living your dreams than there is for living your dreams. And anything that we let go of in service of the higher calling will be replaced, pressed down, overflowing in amazing ways that you just don't know how it's going to happen. The price for not living your dream is higher, way higher than what will be added unto you. Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul, I don't know if you've read that book, but it's about stepping into who we really are in ways that we never dreamed possible. He said, you don't have to worry about other people's issues. You only have to be willing to open your heart in the face of anything and everything and permit. You only have to be willing to open your heart in the face of anything and everything and permit the process to take place. Just allow it. That's a decision we get to make. Just allow it. Let it come through you. And remember that we, as Ernest Holmes said, we are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind. We are depending on all the power there is, all the good there is, all the love there is, all the joy there is, all the peace there is, all the abundance there is. All of it is waiting to support us in living our dream. Bring it, I say. Bring it. Anybody with me on that? Bring it. It's all there for us. And so let's take today's message into prayer. Sweet Spirit, I know that you are everywhere present, living in and through me and in and through every sweet soul here and listening. I give thanks for all of you being present in this place as Spirit, showing up as each one of you. I give thanks for all the love, the joy, the peace, the power that is moving in and through each one of us in a unique and divine way. I give thanks for that divine urge. I give thanks for the A-team standing in the back of our minds saying, grow, do it. Just take the first step. And I know that all the power there is, all the presence there is, all the love there is right there to say, yes, we've been waiting for you. And so I simply give thanks that the lives of each one of us sitting here today, willing to say yes, is even now being changed in ways that are indeed miraculous. And so I watch with wonder as the mind of God, the universal law of spirit, does its perfect work in each one of our lives. There is nothing holding us back but our own decision to say yes. And so I remove anything that is standing in the way of that decision and allow the truth to shine in everyone's life that is here today. I give thanks that there's not a thing that I have to do but simply let go and allow it to do its perfect work. And so it is with wonder that I watch. It is with great joy and blessings that I see the Spirit shining in each of your eyes. That I know that Spirit is living in and through each one of you in a unique and amazing way. And I hope you'll join me in watching and supporting and allowing the Spirit to rise in this community in ways that are indeed amazing. And so I simply say, blessed be, bring it on, Spirit, we're ready, we're grateful, and we allow it. And so it is.
Thank you so very much. What wonderful jewels of wisdom in what you had to say. Thank you so very much. You ready and inspired to step forward to your greater yet to be? And you all have a greater yet to be. And live those dreams. Believe me, that's a great message. Thank you so much. Now it's time for us to give of our gifts, to assist in supporting the work that goes forward in this wonderful Center for Spiritual Living. And Michael, I don't know, you said you were singing your first song. Are you singing a second song? Okay. Well, we loved your first song, so thank you so much. Your gifts go forward in order to support this music, these wonderful ministers, this incredible center. So if you will, take your gift out in your hand and join with me in the affirmation that you'll find in your bulletin. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I give freely today, knowing that it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. So it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So we are so blessed. CSL is so blessed. As we absolutely with an open heart and deep, deep gratitude accept these gifts that represent the unique talents and gifts of each and every one of these people in this congregation. So we say thank you, bless it, knowing that it goes out to serve the world in ways, many ways, seen and unseen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it's time for the children. Are they ready to come in? I see Itukai right now. Come on. They're all coming in together? Ron went to get them? Okay, great. Well, I think it is wonderful that this center is focusing on welcoming more children into this community. I always think that to myself, what if I'd have had this teaching from the time I was little up until now? I mean, I didn't get into this teaching until I was in my 40s, and boy, it changed my life so dramatically and so powerfully. And these children to grow up with it, to learn this philosophy now, they are going to make a great difference in the world that works for everyone. So come on up here, kids. We want to give you a blessing. And so, oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Tukai, and look at you, sweet kids. So do you want to tell me something about what you did today, Everett? Do you want to start, or who would like to start? What did you do today? Anybody? Are you all shy? Huh? Nobody wants to talk about? What do you have in your hand?
They're prayer flags.
Prayer flags. Those are wonderful. So you're going to put that somewhere where the wind will catch it, like the Buddhists do, and allow your prayers to go out into the universe? What a wonderful thing. Those are beautiful. And look at that little one over there. So we just give thanks right now for this gift of life, this beautiful life of these wonderful children, these keiki, as they continue to move in their experience of life, surrounded by a community that loves them and supports them and blesses them as they grow. And we give thanks also for those who are part of this program here in our youth program, our youth church, who help to nurture and raise these beautiful children up in this amazing teaching philosophy, faith, way, and of life. And so we give thanks for this and for the children all over the world, knowing right now with me that every child has a place to live, sufficient food, clean water, fresh air, and someone to love them. May we all hold that vision in our hearts for every child. And so with love and gratitude, we simply let these words be, saying together, and so it is. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. After this service, I want to thank also Deborah this morning for doing her the beautiful treatment and prayer. And also today, Deborah and Malia will be up here after service, seated in these chairs, for what I like to call a 1-minute miracle. If there's something for which you would like to have prayer today, that's what they are here to do, to serve you in prayer. If you want a longer session, our practitioners are also trained and licensed to do private sessions with you on a fee basis, and they are all very exceptional people. So with that, I want to also welcome you to join with me in this little song written by a friend of ours named Susie Ogden. And we're going to change some words, right? We got a few words to change in it. So.
We'll start out with Take a Little Love and Pass It On. And then I'll just tell you what the word is as I think about it. Take a little love and pass it on. Take a little love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show it. Take a little love and pass it on. Courage. Take a little courage, pass it on. Take a little courage, pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show it. Take a little courage, pass it on. Peace. Take a little peace and pass it on. Take a little peace and pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show it. Take a little peace and pass it on. Joy. Take a little joy and pass it on. Take a little joy and pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show it. Take a little joy and pass it on.
We've had a lot of joy here today, and a lot of that joy has been because of some wonderful people that have been here to support and assist us. I want to thank Michelle for doing the announcements, Angela, Saratina, and Sue for being our greeters today, our practitioner, Deborah Vandite, our live stream back there with the headphones looking very professional, Rob Jones, our sound, Jonathan, where are you, Jonathan, and flute, thank you, beautiful, and our programs, says Reverend Rita, thank you, Reverend Rita, our flowers, I don't know, well, we have Imagine Flowers, just imagine. Ron Stover and the team back there for hospitality, Roseanne Jones for the bookstore, Kona Don, my sweetheart, for the music, and Michael for the music, and help with the name. Thank you, that was beautiful, beautiful. Our youth, Janice and George, who helped so much, and thank you. If I've left anybody out, thank you. oh my God. Reverend Diane, wasn't she awesome give her another applause. And so we have been blessed today by this divine spirit that is living and moving and having its being in each and every single one of us. Without you here in this room today, we could not have been all that we are. And with all those that have been watching live stream today, your energy too continues to bless this beautiful place. As each of us goes forward with courage in our hearts to take that next step into our greater yet to be, into that vision and dream of who we can be and who we already are. To know that as epicenters of peace, we are ambassadors of that wherever we go as we take a little love and pass it on. And so we give thanks for this time together. We bless it and we say, and so it is.
All right, we're going to change a little to a lot of. Take a lot of love and pass it on. Take a lot of love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show. If you take a lot of love and pass it on. Courage. Take a lot of courage, pass it on. Take a lot of courage, pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show that if you take a lot of courage, pass it on. Joy. Take a lot of joy and pass it on. Take a lot of joy and pass it on. Woo! Well, before you know it, the world is going to show if you take a lot of joy and pass it on. Grace. Take a lot of grace and pass it on. Take a lot of grace and pass it on.
And thank you, Louise, for the drums.
The world is going to show it if you take a lot of grace and pass it on. Love more one time. Like a lot of love and pass it on. One more time. Take a lot of love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world is going to show it if you take a lot of love and pass it on. Woo! Good job. Love our brass section. Wow.